I'm Davey.
I'm Misty.
DM Watts.
Unscripted.
Unedited.
Unapologetic.
Let's get it. What's going on, everybody? I'm Davey.
I'm Misty.
And welcome to another episode of DM Watts. Real quick, blue and yellow, you guys make sure you give it up for those people in Ukraine.
What?
So we were just looking at some stuff. We were looking
cup of coffee.
We were just looking at some stuff in Africa, and I said Uganda.
You went
So,
straight to Uganda.
We were looking at some things in Africa, and I said Uganda. Okay, excuse me. Make sure
Pray for
you guys,
people in
pray
Uganda,
for people
too.
in Ukraine. Look,
Okay.
Ukraine.
So anyway,
Yeah.
DMWatchPodcast.com is where you can find
Yes,
us.
and at
We're
all
on
the
all the
streaming
streaming
services.
services.
Tell them about what else. Crypto. We're in some
There's
crypto. Yeah, crypto.
Nisa says hi.
And he says hi.
That was easy.
There is our intro.
We have had a weird day.
Yeah,
Nothing has
yeah.
happened.
Mhm.
We just can't seem to wake
Mm-hmm.
up.
I'm just tired. So I'm gonna
more
go ahead
coffee.
and I'm gonna get into the fishbowl now because I'm like, oh,
We got to keep them awake, people.
Yeah, I'm like, man.
Let's go. Let's cheer them on.
Yeah. Yep. And
It's
today's ocean topic is fishbowl topic instead of ocean.
okay.
All right. So we just did this 3 days ago.
What in the world?
We just did that 3 days ago.
And that's even a different color piece of paper.
It is. So I don't know what we were thinking.
What is going on with our fishbowl?
Yep.
It's
Here it
in
is.
A matrix.
Here it is.
What?
Why do we settle? That is a title. That is the topic of the fishbowl today. Why do we settle?
From one Mr. Thomas Pimentel.
From Tom and Pimentel. Hi, Tom.
Hi, Tom.
This is a topic from Thomas Pimentel.
Pimentel.
That's what I said. So it says, why do we settle? And it says wrong person for like the wrong person, the wrong job, wrong car, etc. So, Tom, this episode is for you. This topic is for you. So
it was a good topic.
It is a good topic. So we wrote it down and we're going to tag Tom, let him know we talked about him.
Yeah.
So
no, we didn't talk about him. We talked about his topic.
Well, his topic. Yeah, talked about his topic from him. So what do you think? Why do you settle?
I think it's just complete human nature. I think that a lot of us that aren't narcissistic think that, this is good enough. And hey, I'm safe. I'm relatively happy or whatever that means. I'm making money, even if it's mediocre, and want more. It's a job. I can pay my bills and I'm just going to stay where I'm at.
Yeah.
And I think that we get into a false lane and just stay there. We're on the freeway and we're fine and nobody's bugging us and honking the horn. So we're just going to stay right here. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
it's just complacency.
But when we also talk about settling, it's like, I believe it depends on the situation, right?
Sure.
So like some of the things that we have written down there, like relationships. Okay. Why do you settle for relationships?
Habit.
Yeah.
Don't think you're good enough for anybody else.
Yeah. Which is kind of.
There's a plethora.
Yeah. There's not no kind of. That's where you start talking about abuse, right? It's like the person of individual has made you feel that you're fine right there. You ain't gonna find anything better.
Why would someone like Johnny Depp stay with Amber Heard?
That's truth. Yeah. Yeah. I
mean, she, so he obviously there's some insecurities in there that he must have. Yeah. He's talked about being abused as a child. And she, who was a nobody, literally was able to prey on that.
Yeah.
And her stronger personality. She obviously had this dominating personality.
Yeah. And
he got in the habit of it.
Yeah. Now, so I think that also when you start talking about settling, you should also think about, for lack of a better word, Stockholm Syndrome.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like you can also think about Stockholm Syndrome. So Stockholm Syndrome being the fact that you're, like, hey, it may be he or she may be abusive.
Yeah, you fall in love with your abuser, your attacker, your kidnapper.
A lot of that happens in domestic violence, right?
Yeah, and it's not even in love. It's that you. Well, it's just gaslighting and brainwashing, and they make you believe that you're better with them, and that they cherish you like nobody else.
Right. So you're not going to find anything else better than them. So the only thing you do is literally, seriously, get it in your head exactly the things that they tell you.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I am better with it. So now when people you know are seeing you in the situation. I mean, and we're talking about just an abusive situation, man or woman, doesn't matter. And your friends on the outside looking in, like, dude, like this dude hits you, or bro, like this female literally like dogs you, like literally dogs you all the time. Like, what is going on? Why are you staying with this person? It's like, well, you guys don't see what I see.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not like that all the time.
But in any relationship, then, you know, abuse or not, it can also then go, well, we got kids.
Yeah.
Well, we just bought a house.
Yeah.
Well, he just got a new job, or I just got a new job. Well, there's always an excuse as to why we're doing what we're doing when it just comes down to we're settling.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, I'm not going to lie, I'm sure people out there, it's just laziness.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I'm not in the mood to find something better.
I don't want to go through the process. Well, if it's a marriage, you're like, dude, it's going to take way too long to divorce this person.
I think it also depends on generation too, as to why we settle, because I think different generations have different ideas, set of rules, and societal traits, really.
Yeah.
So they're like, this is fine. You know, like in the 60s, 50s, forever.
Yeah.
Men having secretaries, and we all know what they're doing with their secretaries. And you know, women were just kind of not accepting of it, but it was like that's what they do.
Yeah. It's like
instead of asking for better.
Well, yeah. And so I mean, but even taking that, you know, outside of just relationships, right? So one of the other things is like we settle for like a job. Right. So like when you start talking about why do we settle?
That's fear.
And
I think that's fear.
You think it's fear? Okay.
I do.
Why do you go straight to fear?
I go straight to fear because, again, you know, I'm in a job. I don't care if I'm not valued so much as I'm making money and my bills are paid. I'm in the habit, and I'm scared that if I quit this, what if that next job that's promised me all that money is going to be worse than where I'm at now?
Or
what if I don't find anything else?
And what's crappy about this, like when you start talking about settling, right? So everybody knows, like, you know, for the most part, you know, before pandemic and stuff like this, you know, minimum wage was laughable. It was laughable. Like most places, I think minimum wage was still stuck at $5. Or was it $7?
No, I think they'd raised it. It was either 7 or 8.
Yeah, but still it's laughable.
It's still
right. And so it's like, hey, I don't want to quit this job. I don't know what else is out there. Then, you know, pandemic happened, and then it was like, hey, they realized working from home could work. So now people aren't coming into work because they can work from home.
Exactly.
They work from home, so the tables have turned. So now you no longer have to settle for, you know, McDonald's or wherever just paying you $8 an hour. And so, and this is an example when we ask that question, why do you settle? Because if enough of you rise up saying, I'm tired of this, look what happens.
Yeah.
Look at what's happening now when you start about, like, you know, why do we settle at a job? Settle at a job because, like you said, fear. But then you take the fear away. Well,
if you take fear away, then there's nothing left to control you with.
Right.
So that's the issue is, you know, we're settling right now as a nation.
Yeah.
We're settling with our politicians. We're settling with the people that we pick to represent us.
Right.
And it's because, one, we're lazy.
Yeah.
And we don't want to get out there and do it ourselves.
Exactly.
2, we're afraid that if we speak up, we're going to lose more of what we're already losing. And 3, it's just, it's control, because they sit there and feed us and tell us that we can't do anything about it.
Right. And
then yet look at the union workers that are organizing.
Right. And that's a prime example of what we talk about. And I'm glad you brought that up. It's a prime example of what we talk about when we say like settling, you know, like it's still on the job thing. You talking about selling? Well, it ain't gonna get better. Well, that Amazon worker, he decided not to settle.
Yeah.
He got fired. He got fired, and my man came back. Oh, we finna unionize.
Yeah, doesn't matter. I'm still doing it.
Yeah, like one kid, not kid, but he's a man.
He's a young man.
Yeah, but one guy that most likely Amazon was like, whatever. Who are you? You're one person. Yeah, and then one person became many.
Yeah, and
no longer were they settling for their situation. You guys know, even at Amazon, you know, we were told by people who've worked there, like, you can't get bathroom breaks until it's time for your break.
Yeah.
There's no, I got to go to the bathroom.
And well, it ain't time for your break yet. Is this elementary school?
Yeah.
Like, that is like, not raise your hand. All what you should be able to do. However, I mean, okay, as far as, since we're going to talk about that real quick, I fear for the state of Kansas and the workers here because we're a right to work state. So there is not, they're don't try.
Yeah.
And I hope they do. And I hope they succeed. And I will back you no matter what. Because here's the thing, it's usually in Kansas, it's just the big factories that have unions. You know, so coming from California, I'm used to everybody's in a union. Baristas and waitresses and bakers and everybody's in a union out there.
Yeah. And now, you know, but
so don't settle.
Exactly. Don't settle, and that's what the guy at Amazon did. He did not settle.
Yeah. Jeff Bezos never settled.
He didn't.
Not a day in his life. Elon Musk did not settle. He still put in the offer for Twitter. And whether you like it or not, they took it.
They took it. But understand this, you know, there's a lot of negative things out there about Elon. He's this, he's that. He
still didn't settle.
He still didn't settle. He didn't settle for living out of his car, where he discovered PayPal, where he created PayPal.
Yeah.
Is when he was living out of his car. That's when he created PayPal.
So he didn't settle. Tyler Perry did not settle.
He didn't when he was homeless. Tyler Perry didn't settle.
So, you know, why do we settle? I think it does have a lot to do with fear, habit, laziness. And yeah, I think everything just goes back to
comfort zone.
It's a comfort zone. Hey, we've done it during the pandemic.
Yep. Where like
we got into a comfort zone of eating.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Which
and
we speak for the majority of people.
Comfy.
Yeah, the majority of
and drinking.
Yeah.
It was great. Can't do anything after 3.
Yeah.
Oh. Might as well have a drink.
Which is why this is water and Kool-Aid mix, and that's coffee.
Yeah, because we've been on a cleanse from it. Because we decided not to settle for the people we had become. And it was just a comfort.
Yeah. But
that's dangerous. Comfort is dangerous.
It is. So if you have, let's put it to you like this. And I love, you know, my wife brings up random stuff that makes you go, a lot sometimes when we're talking. That's how it goes in this house. I'm like, you know what? That's holy crap. I didn't even think about it. I just walk away.
I got nothing to say to that.
Yeah, I walk away like I'm Socrates or whatever that thing is, that statue.
The thinking man.
The thinking man. That's what it is. When I say Socrates, you know what I meant.
Yeah,
but
I knew exactly what you meant.
So, but seriously though, you know, that has been a question where it's just like, you know, why is that okay? Because it's become normal. What, you know, why is it okay for these things to happen? Because it's the norm. Why is it okay? I mean, ask yourself these things, man. Like for real. Why is it? Look, I'm not trying to raise some political storm here. No. Everybody calm it down. Why is it okay for, you know, some middle class folks to pay more taxes than, you know, the rich? Why is it okay for you to be stuck in the situation you in, and the very programs put there to help you actually harm you more so than anything? Yeah, you know what I mean? They actually harm you more so than anything. I mean, just think about it.
Well, and I think it goes back to, and I had brought this up earlier, but it's fitting for this. It is the allegory of the cave. It's Plato's cave.
Yeah, go ahead and explain that one. I really like this explanation too.
So, you know, Plato stated that we are basically in a cave. We were born into the cave. We are fed, housed, clothed, but we're chained to the cave. Behind us is a wall. Behind the wall is a fireplace, basically a fire pit. And there are people there, and they're creating shadows on the wall. So it's basically like, you know, watching TV for ancient times.
Yeah.
And the people don't know that there's something behind them, like an opening to a world. They just know that there are things on the wall that are telling them what to do and how to do it. And this is what the world is, when there's a whole other world. And that's where we're at. And the reason why they don't realize it or try to break free is because they are taken care of, not to the best of what their ability is or what they deserve.
They're just taken care of.
But they're just given the basic human need, which is food, clothes, and a place to be. And that's what we're in. Yeah. We're in that comfort zone.
And that goes back to what we were talking about settling, like when it came to the job, right? It's like, okay, I get food, may not be, you know, like the food that I want, but I can afford food. I can afford this, but I can't afford that. It's a job, right? It's a job that pays me pennies that 75% of those pennies going to go to taxes and necessities. And then as far as enjoyment, there's nothing left over for that.
Well, on the other end of that, though, it does depend on the job. So bartender, waitressing, waiter. That's hard.
Yeah.
Food business is hard to leave because it is cash.
Yeah.
And if you're in a city or at a good bar and you're good at what you do, even if you're bad at what you do as a bartender, on a slow Monday night where I wouldn't see customers for 4 or 5 hours, maybe customers would only show up for an hour and a half, 2 hours before closing time on a Monday, I could bring in $250 cash, boom, out the door.
Yeah. And then
you do that 4 nights a week, you're good. I don't have to stand at a factory. I'm here for 6 hours and I've been pouring drinks and making people happy.
And then you may have those days where nobody comes in.
Yep.
And you walk away with $10 for the night.
You're like, well, I really needed to make up what I normally make because I need it, because you're not going to make it up in your paycheck, because your paycheck is now like $2.35.
But that's the thing, you know, and we talk about that from a relationship standpoint. We talk about that from a job standpoint.
And it's because you get in the habit of having cash.
Yeah. And it's not, so, you know, settling, you always also got to understand is that, you know, we vaguely mentioned it, is about being in your comfort zone. You're like, hey man, there's something about waking up in the morning. The way I can compare it is waking up in the morning at bed. You do not want to get out of that warm bed. You're like, man, I could sleep all day. You don't want to get out of there, but you know, if you don't hop your butt up, you know what I'm saying, the money don't make itself.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Money don't make, you know, if you don't hop out of that bed, you ain't getting paid. You're going to risk being late. You're going to risk being fired. So when we talk about settling, it's like, hey, you could have laid in that bed. You could have laid right in there, man, just good, just been comfortable, settled for that bed. Like, I'm good, bro. But consequences to it, right?
There is.
Consequences to not trying to better yourself to a better job, right?
You get stuck.
You want to settle
and you
in
watch
your job.
People succeed and you're
people
not.
You know, surpassing you in promotions and this and that. So, but it's a fear of going into that unknown.
It is.
When I was in the fire department, I ran into this a lot. A lot of people were comfortable never being anything more than a driver. I'm good. Nope. I don't need to step it up and do anything else. They're comfortable with just being a driver. Like, man, you don't want to be a crew chief. You don't want to, you know, step up to the admin, you know, to maybe possibly make the fire chief one day. No, I'm good. I don't play the management game. Well, I play the payday game.
Well, so. and I've met people like that though. So, I mean, there are people, now I will say this, on the other side of that, there are people that I've known that I do in that aspect admire, not because I admire the fact that they didn't want to strive to be anything. No, they are something. They're doing what they're okay with in their life, and they're comfortable in their life to do that, and not take on more problems for the sake of a few bucks. Do their time and then stack their money so that they can live when they retire. And I think that's admirable. And I think that's amazing. However, I've never been that person. I've never settled for less. And I've had really hard times because I couldn't be a 9-to-5er. I couldn't settle for that. I'm a lifelong learner, and I have to keep moving, and I have to keep achieving, and I have to keep striving. It's not because I'm looking for something in my life. It's just because I won't settle. And I'm glad I didn't. And it made me uncomfortable.
I've
not been comfortable.
It's very uncomfortable. And you can take that aspect of like, why do we settle, to pretty much anything that's happened in your life.
Absolutely.
You know, anything like, why do I settle for these same exact shoes, which will lead you to the job settling, right? Which leads you to all of that.
Or why do I settle for, you know, this kind of food service? You know? And
so I think I got the ultimate one. It's a really good one. Why do you settle for what people tell you versus going and find out for yourself?
That's a whole other, because of fear, because they want to please the people around them.
And so, you know, let's take that broader, right? When we say that, why do you settle and you believe everything what people say instead of figuring out? Google, there no longer is Google considered, oh, of course you got it from Google. You must be like, that's what that, like,
even Wikipedia is like,
exactly, like, it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? Versus I saw it on TV, I saw it on CNN, I saw it on Fox. Both of those are known to tell the truth all the time. So I mean, so why do you settle for what's been shown to you on TV versus educating yourself?
Laziness.
You know what I'm saying?
It's laziness.
Yeah.
It's easier to regurgitate, but it's the same with religion.
Yeah, hey guys, we in danger territory.
I know, but it's true.
Danger,
it's the
Real
same with religion. It's called a parrot Christian.
Yeah. So
you're regurgitating and repeating back to me what your minister or your teacher told you.
So
you didn't actually read the Bible.
Yeah. So, and the ones that take those random statements out of, and whatever phrase out of the Bible.
One day the religion topic will come up in our fishbowl. We are so overly prepared for it. It's sad. And we've been waiting like 6 months.
Very much so. Yeah. So.
And we're settling for not picking it instead of realizing that we own this podcast and can pick it out at any time. We used to do it with cereal all the time. I guess we're talking about cereal today.
So, but no, we have to say, if you don't take anything from this conversation, it's start getting comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Yep.
And why is that? Because if you're listening to us and you were listening to us, in a different country, you may have different rights than we do, but a lot of these things that we're saying, it still holds true.
Yeah.
Why are you settling for the things that you see on TV? Find it out yourself. Why are you settling for that job? If you love being a baker and that's what does it for you, you got it, right? But if you want to be a world-renowned chef,
you got to step.
You're gonna have to step out of that.
And don't let people tell you, why can't you just be happy with what you have? Because you know what that does? That plants a seed that I am a perfectionist, or that I want unreachable goals, or that I don't value other people because I have such high expectations. No, they don't have enough expectations on themselves. So don't do that. You're walking in your own shoes, and great people and great makers of history had to get uncomfortable to do it. And they had to stop settling. They had to stop settling for minimum wage, which is $7.25 nationally. Right now it's 2022. $7.25 is our national wage.
Minimum wage.
And keep taxes and food and inflation, everything is only going up. And we want to know why we can't eat. $7.25.
Yeah. So ultimately,
don't settle.
If you're watching us in other countries, and if you're watching us in our own, we got to tell you, our founding fathers, what if they would have settled?
See, right there, boom, mic drop.
Yep.
Right there.
I feel like our founding fathers, what if they would have settled? All right, that's our show.
Not only that, they didn't only not settle, but then when they ratified and revolutionized and did all these things, they still continued not to settle for certain things, not to settle for one party, not to settle for, this bill. It has to be amended.
And here's the thing,
kept going.
They were settling before.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's when it was decided to not settle anymore, then United States were born. America was born.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you got to think about those things. If you're listening to us, I mean, I hope, this motivates you. I hope it's words of inspiration, motivation, whatever it is.
Me.
Yeah. But if you're sitting here and you're driving and you're listening to us, if you're headed to school, if you're headed to work, wherever you're headed, if you're heading to this job that you've been hating and looking for a reason to step your game up, I hope this has been your reason.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? If you're tired of being in that relationship that is emotionally abusing to you, you know what I'm saying? And you've been like, one day I'm gonna get out of this. Why not now?
Get out.
Why not now? Why, as you're driving to work, listening to this podcast, have you not pulled over and devised a plan?
Yeah.
Here's my plan, and stick to it. You know what I'm saying? It's just think about it, because if the founding fathers settled, we'd be speaking another language right now.
Yeah, well,
keep that in mind.
Who knows what it would have been, but more than likely would have been English.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
The Queen's
We'd
English.
have a different accent. How about that? We'd have a different accent.
But
if America never settled, if America would have settled, World War II would have been a little bit different, don't you think?
Ooh.
So look, we can go wherever.
Ukraine's not settling right now, but I want to leave you guys with this.
Go ahead.
Your future self is waiting for you.
Absolutely.
Just on the other side of that comfortable chair.
Exactly. And I guarantee you,
the world is waiting on your future you.
Yeah. I guarantee you,
stop settling.
The future you is waiting for you to stand up so he or she can shake your hand and say welcome.
Yeah. Or thank you.
Or thank you. So look, we're done there.
That's
it. We're gonna leave it with that.
You guys need to stop settling for our mushiness right now.
Exactly.
We're gonna go.
So blue and yellow, make sure you guys support those people over in Ukraine any way that you possibly can.
Yes.
There are plenty of ways to do it.
Don't
Google
stand
it.
for it. Don't settle for
educate yourself and Google it. How you can support them. DMYspodcast.com is where I can find us at too. We got some good merch. Catch us on all the streaming services, and we are in some crypto. I was almost done, and it didn't.
I know you were doing so
up and nothing like that.
good.
Yeah, but it happens. But
but you didn't settle.
Yeah, I didn't settle.
Bounced back.
We're going back. We're going
into
Yep. Our service dog says hello while she's over there chewing on some tree and goodbye. So look, signing off for DMY's podcast. I'm Davey.
I'm Misty.
And we are DMY. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Take it easy. Bye. Don't settle.